Hey everybody, Dan with Pain for You. Today's topic is going to be when we argue against TMS as the cause of our symptoms. So I'll get to that in a minute. Sorry I've been shooting inside. I want to go outside, but I don't know if you can tell out the window. No, it's too bright, but there's still at least 6 or 8 inches of snow on the ground, and been getting a little bit lazy and comfortable in here, so bear with me. I'll get back out there. Let's take a couple of breaths. Just remind ourselves to let the body relax. Show the brain and the nervous system through our nice calm breathing and relaxed body. Let's show that nervous system that we're actually okay and we're safe. That was that video, show versus tell. So if you haven't seen that, go back a day or two and watch that one. So, when you argue against TMS as the cause of your symptoms, first thing I'll say is it's absolutely coming from a place of fear. That what if it's not TMS? What if I really have something physically or structurally wrong? Oh no, then I'm really broken. And, I guess we come up with a logic that says, if it is physical, but I treat it as TMS, isn't that dangerous? Aren't I going to cause myself more problems if I don't treat a real physical problem? I would first of all say, let's go back to some of the leading medical practitioners in the TMS space. Dr. Howard Schubner doesn't say, let's get a medical diagnosis and go from there. What he says is, let's rule out the catastrophic or the life-threatening stuff. And then let's rule in this thing called TMS. And once we have ruled in this thing called TMS, all of the medical labels and the medical diagnoses in between for torn this, bulging that, bone on bone, you name it, any number of thousands of potential medical reasons for the cause of the pain or the symptoms don't matter. If it's not life-threatening and you've ruled in this thing called TMS with some of the various assessments, then the case is closed. The middle stuff, I would say, is guesswork at best from the mainstream medical community. And the fact that you've got a diagnosis called neuralgia or, nerve damage or a pinched nerve, these things don't necessarily matter, because if the assessments say it's TMS, then your pain is behaving much more like TMS than it is some medically explained structural physical problem. So it's all based on this. Pain is going to continue as long as the body believes there's a physical reason for it. And the reason for that is the brain's job is to keep us safe and keep us alive and deliver to us the things that we expect. Pain is a warning signal to say, stop doing that movement, stop being in that position called sitting, stop anything that the brain perceives as dangerous. It could be an emotion, which may have started things, but once we get into the chronic pain world, so many times the things the brain has learned to become afraid of are the physical things, the movements, the exercise, the sitting, the laying down, the standing, whatever it may be. Pain is a danger signal, and that's it. So, when you argue against TMS as the reason for the pain, you are literally saying to the brain, hey, don't turn it off. This might be physical. Yes. That clearly, when you say, but I don't know, it feels very physical, your brain's going, got it. I'm paying attention. You're right, it is physical, so when you get up to walk around, I'm going to make sure it hurts, so go sit down again, go lay down again. Stop it. That's dangerous. Cut it out. That's literally the brain's job, is to stop you from doing something that the brain perceives as dangerous. And when you argue against TMS as the cause of the pain, you are literally arguing for your pain to continue. And I said this recently to somebody who was messaging me. I said, you're arguing for your limitations, and I'm arguing for your potential to get well. And I would encourage you to get onto the side of on the side of this story here, where you argue for your potential to get well, and your ability to get well, and your ability to teach your brain to settle down. We got to teach the brain that the body's not the cause. And if you're not sure if it's a cause, go back to TMS 101. Read some more Sarna, watch some more books, or watch some more videos that explain what TMS is. Painforyou.com has a video that explains the process on the homepage. Chronic pain is learned pain, where the brain has said, this is dangerous, let's remember it, it's important. And so if it can learn it, it can unlearn it. That's Dr. Schubner's book, Unlearn Your Pain. So I don't believe there's anything broken. But when you keep on saying, but it might be physical, or I think it's physical, or it feels physical, or the doctor told me this medical label, or the doctor told me that, and I read somewhere that it said this, or I read somewhere else that it said that, and the support community is nobody's getting better, and you're arguing for your limitations, you're arguing for your pain to continue. And I'm here to tell you that is not how we end TMS. And if you were wondering, but Dan, I've been trying to tell myself I'm safe, and I've been journaling, or I've been feeling my emotions, I've been trying to relax my body. What's the core message you send to your brain when you say, I don't know if this TMS thing is real. I don't know if that's what's going on with me. You're saying I'm doing all this stuff that I'm not convinced is going to work because I still think I'm broken. And so it is extremely important to gain clarity. I don't know if you just saw that, but Finn just jumped down. That thud was him coming down from that upper bookcase, landing on the ground. But when you argue for your physical symptoms to be caused by physical problems, you're literally teaching your brain to keep it going. So I don't believe that's the way to get better. The way to get better is to literally, through accurate information, not believing a bunch of hoo-ha. I mean, I'm not saying, if you break your leg, you can convince your brain that your leg's not broken and, the pain's going to go away. That's not what I mean. What I mean is get an accurate assessment of accurate information that it's not your body that's causing the symptoms. And how do we determine that? We learn about TMS. We do the assessments to determine if the pain or symptoms are behaving more like TMS than they are a structural problem. And if it's behaving like TMS, then it's TMS. So I'm going to try to remember to put a link towards the assessments. If you're on the YouTube channel, those are there all the time. Just go to the description. On Facebook, I'll try to remember that. And if I forget, somebody please remind me. But you can go to yourpaintest.com. And if it's a score over 29, it's TMS. Please stop arguing for your pain to continue and accept that if it's behaving like TMS, it's TMS. You ever hear that phrase? If it looks like a duck and smells like a duck, it's a duck. If it looks like TMS and smells like TMS or behaves like TMS, it's TMS. So I will encourage everybody who's still on that fence and still finds themselves worrying and arguing for, against TMS as the reason for their symptoms. I'm going to encourage you to jump onto the belief that you're actually okay. Because believing that it's TMS, or that it's physical, believing that your symptoms are caused by a physical or structural problem doesn't make you safer. It's just giving the brain the wrong instructions, which are counter to or opposing what we actually want the brain to deliver. And since our brain's always listening to us, it's going to deliver based on the instructions we give it. So if we give it better instructions and say, you know what, this is all just TMS, my body's perfectly fine, and we really get very clear on that and focused on the fact that our body's okay, and reassure and teach the brain that your body's okay and that some of these things you've heard from the doctors are inaccurate. You may have physical structural abnormalities, but remember what Sarno said. They are normal abnormalities, but not the cause of the symptoms or pains. So please, if you are arguing against TMS as the cause of what's going on, remember, TMS, too much stress, too much thinking, too much fear. That causes this nervous system to send pain signals, neural circuit pain. So I hope you guys found this useful, helpful. Please stop arguing for your pain to continue, because that's exactly what you're doing when you are questioning, well, what if it's physical? What if I'm missing something? Well, if it is and you've got a bulging disc, it's not dangerous. You know, I never met anybody in the 24 years I've been paying attention to this stuff. I never met anybody or heard any story of anybody that said, I've got TMS when it's a bulging disc, and the next thing you know, their spine fell out of their body. It doesn't happen. So please, jump onto the TMS bandwagon. Teach your brain that you're okay. Before you know it, the brain's going to start believing the things you think and say most often, which is that my body's fine, these are normal abnormalities, I'm safe, I'm going to be okay, right? Remember, reassure yourself. Because any time that you are saying, oh my God, but it feels so physical, and you spend all day long crying, you're basically teaching your brain that you're in danger, and you're freaking out, which does what to your nervous system? Amplifies it. It raises it up. You're in the stress response when you're freaking out about your symptoms. So your job is to turn off the stress response, particularly about your symptoms. Because it's not completely possible to eliminate all stress. But we don't actually have to be in the stress response, which turns on the brain's survival mechanism, which includes adrenaline and cortisol, increased heart rate, increased blood flow, breathing quickens, eyes dilate, immune system shuts down, digestive system shuts down. That's called survival mode. We don't need to be in that when we have work stress or family stress or life stress. So teach your body, teach your brain to settle down, calm down, relax. You're not broken. You're not broken physically, mentally, or emotionally. So, please stop arguing against TMS as the reason for your symptoms. Anyway, hope you found this useful. Love you guys and gals. Happy Monday, if there is such a thing. And we'll see you tomorrow. Love you.